Phil Hellmuth is looking down at pocket jacks. Preflop begins with a move that is purely Hellmuthian. Instead of raising to build a pot with pocket jacks, he decides to limp, setting a trap that nobody asked for. This passivity invites a family pot. Ferdinand comes along with pocket eights. Elke limps with king 3, and Aide Mosseri is allowed to see a free flop from the big blind with 10-7 offsuit. By refusing to raise, Phil has allowed a trash hand to realize its equity for zero cost, a strategic error that allows the big blind to connect with boards they should never have seen. The action checks around to Ferdinand, who takes a stab at the pot with 1,200 holding his underpair. Mosseri springs into action immediately, check-raising to 4,400. This is a fast play strategy. He knows the board is wet and doesn't want to give free cards to straight draws.
I took one shot at it with my hand.
Hellmuth, trapped by his own cleverness, decides to flat call. In his mind, Mosseri is defending the blind with a draw or a 9. The turn brings the ace, a scare card that changes the texture but not the hierarchy. Mosseri keeps his foot on the gas, firing a bet of 10,000. It is a polarized sizing, asking Phil to decide if this is a bluff or a monster.
How much of that?
Hellmuth, stubborn as ever with his underrepresented jacks, makes the call. He is now purely bluff-catching, convinced that his pre-flop trap disguises his hand strength enough to induce Mosseri into spewing off chips with a straight draw. The river is the 10, giving Mosseri quad 10s.
All in.
Hellmuth folds.
Daniel Negreanu opens the action with ace-queen, one of those classic Broadway hands that works beautifully as a raise.
Come on, Daniel, every hand?
Yes, every hand.
Jeez.
Every hand till Saturday.
Saturday, he gets his highlights touched up.
But when Barbero calls with pocket deuces, he is entering the hand with a completely different script. Small pairs are not strong in isolation.
Got it, Kenny.
Asham and Kenny call.
Here we go.
Got some of that loose cannon money.
For Negreanu, this looks like a board he can lean on. The paired deuce means there are fewer combinations of trips available, and with his pre-flop raise, he can credibly represent all the strong aces and overpairs. So he fires $3,000, aiming to pick up the pot uncontested or extract value from pairs below the ace. Barbero, though, is sitting on quads. If he raises here, he narrows Negreanu's range immediately to hands that can continue, and with quads, that is the last thing he wants. By just calling, he lets Negreanu's entire bluffing range stay alive, setting a trap that is as much psychological as mathematical. The turn brings the ace. This is where the hand shifts. For Negreanu, the ace is one of the best cards in the deck. His hand improves to top pair, top kicker, and it strengthens the story he's been telling since preflop. But this same card is a gift to Barbero. Now Negreanu is less likely to slow down, more likely to stack off, and completely unaware he is drawing dead. Negreanu checks, perhaps to control the size of the pot, but Barbero is not letting this street pass by. He bets $9,200. A number that looks perfectly believable as a value bet with a medium ace or even a stubborn pocket pair. Negreanu calls, convinced he is still far ahead of the likely range. Negreanu checks again, expecting Barbero to take a stab. Barbero obliges with $20,000, a sizing that pressures Negreanu's entire calling range but still looks callable with top pair. From Negreanu's seat, folding feels impossible.
I'm thinking like 6s or 7s. Sixes or 7s are good for me. I had you on ace-4, unfortunately, on the turn. So if you had ace-4, then you just made a straight. Huh.
Drop the stakes you play at in the comments and whether you're an online grinder or live game player. Let's see if we're running with high rollers or micro warriors.
God, I don't like that river. Such a good river for you. If you put me on jacks, right? You figure I have jacks, you have to bet that river card now. So many, I leveled myself with the pause in the turn. You know what I mean? On the turn, I studied, and like sort of changed my range in his eyes, which forces me to go like that.
Daniel calls.
I had the nuts.
Oh, that's good too. Quads!
Jennifer Tilly kicks things off with a pair of 5s. But she's up against Hashem with ace-king offsuit, who is raised to $2,500 in this crazy poker cash game.
Daniel's out. Tilly, pocket fives.
Should be an easy call.
She does.
Surprises one time, Ken, and just put the 3-bet in.
It'll happen.
Surprises
Not with those cards.
Are you feeling the peer pressure right now?
You can't think of it like that. You have to think that $800 bought you goodwill at the table and possibly an invitation to be invited back. Because, you know, these guys
Smart
love
woman.
when you straddle.
The flop comes 5 king 7 rainbow. Jennifer hits the set and Joe Hashem just made top pair top kicker. And if you know poker, you know that's the kind of hand that makes grown men hand over their chips with a smile and then cry in the parking lot.
Tilly donks it for 3K.
Poor Joe Hashem, this is just not his week.
Poker isn't about what you have. It's about what you represent. And right now, Joe's call caps his range. He's telling Jennifer he doesn't have 2 pair. He doesn't have a set. He's sitting on a 1-pair hand, hoping to keep the pot low.
5 of clubs, quads for Jen. This is the second time Joe's been up against quads this week.
Tilly is holding the bangers. But notice, no fast plays, not even a bet. She's hoping he has caught something to hold on to while she tries to slowly squeeze him off.
Joe could easily think he's ahead.
Obviously he does. He bets 6,500.
Everyone at the table thinks she's the playful actress who overplays marginal hands. But right now, she's successfully turning that persona into pure profit. And Hashem, like most men would, falls for her trap.
And Jen min raises to 13K.
By making it the smallest raise possible, she's given herself a good shot at getting called.
And Joe does make the call. Jen's got quads and she's got herself a customer. Ace of diamonds, 2 pair for Joe. That is not a good card for him.
20,000.
That's 20K.
I call.
And Joe calls.
I call, Jen.
You call?
4 of a kind again.
Am I the king of quads today or what?
Joe can't believe it.
Pre-flop begins with a standard opening that quickly devolves into a loose, multi-way affair, setting the stage for a statistical anomaly. Negreanu, always looking to play pots in position, opens to 1,600 with a hand that plays beautifully post-flop.
I like whatever. My turn. I am officially in.
However, Phil Lack, living up to his reputation as a chaotic element at the table, decides to flat call with 6-2 suited. This is absolute trash hand that relies entirely on surprise value. His loose call offers pot odds to the rest of the table, enticing Kenny to call with 8-5 and Lou to defend with ace-3 suited.
Nice. Action.
4-way action of the flop.
We go to the flop 4-handed, with ranges as wide as the ocean. The flop is one of the rarest sights of all. It is a case-ace scenario. Because there are 3 aces on the board and 1 in Lou's hand, the deck is completely crippled. Lou has flopped quad aces, the unbeatable nuts. However, this is a disastrous board for extracting value. Everyone else is staring at air. The action checks around, which is mandatory for Lou. Betting here would simply force everyone to fold their king highs and pocket pairs immediately. He has to wait and pray that someone catches a miracle card to make a second best hand. Now, Phil Lack decides it is time to try and win the pot. He bets 4,000. He is effectively value betting his full house, assuming that perhaps someone with king or queen high will look him up.
Ooh. That's a little more than 4.
This is the moment Lou has been patiently waiting for. He wakes up and raises to 9,500. It is a small, teasing raise, designed to look like a bluff or a chop pot protection bet.
Feels like they were waiting for me to bet, huh?
Oh, that's good. It was the first time I called a bet he made, and he had quads.
The loose cannon is looking down at pocket aces. Pre-flop begins with a classic confrontation between a seasoned professional's aggression and an amateur's dream scenario. Scott Seaver, never one to shy away from opening a pot in late position, raises to 1,500 with king-9 offsuit. It is a loose open, relying on his post-flop edge to outmaneuver opponents, but he is walking into a buzzsaw. The loose cannon looks down at the prettiest hand in Hold'em, pocket aces. Rather than 3-betting to build the pot immediately and define ranges, Given decides to get tricky. He just flat calls. The flop is an absolute cooler. Given checks to the aggressor, a standard slow play. Seaver, however, is too savvy to bloat the pot with a marginal hand. He checks back. Seaver realizes that on an ace-high board, betting his king accomplishes little. Better hands won't fold, and worse hands like underpairs might not call. a card that makes it extremely hard to get any value out of this hand. The pot has remained relatively small due to the double checkbacks sitting at 4,000. Given knows he has to get value now, he cannot check a third time. He leads out for a measly 3,000, practically begging Seaver to pay pocket change to see the cards.
Seaver calls. Given. Shows.
Wait. Maybe I can beat this hand.
Is that you?
Yeah.
What happened? Where the rest of the pot?
Not much action.
Oh, well, what could he have?
Oh, you checked all the way?
Well, yeah, I got...
No, he bet the end.
And you paid him off?
Yeah.
Sucker.
Yeah, I had a 9 of hearts.
Nice hand. Whatever. Take it.
Tedeschi kicks things off with pocket queens. He is raised to 36,000, but he's up against McAllister, whose cards we don't know yet.
Philip McAllister calls out of a stack of 1.74 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of dimp.
Rabba comes in from the big blind, so a three-way to the flop.
Jaya Rabba.
And that flop is Queen 8-4 with 2 clubs. Looks like Rabba has checked to the razor.
Makes sense.
Tedeschi's pocket queens just flopped top set on a pretty dry board. It's a dream scenario for him. But McAllister and Rabba could easily have flush or straight draws since they just called pre-flop. So he's probably going to look for a value bet here.
It's been checked to McAllister. And I've been impressed by what we've seen from this guy today.
Pose. Really? It supposedly means you're comfortable. A lot of poker players sit like that.
So the bet from McAllister is 48K.
Rabba doesn't look like he's gonna fold here. We don't know if he's drawing or if he actually has a piece of the board. But after Tedeschi checked on the flop, he might raise and try to scare him off.
Rabba calls. Monsieur Tedeschi.
I think it's Paul Tedeschi, actually.
Tedeschi's in an interesting spot here. He's confident his hand is strong, but Rabba's call indicates some kind of draw or a strong pair. He's probably wondering if Rabba's just trying to see the turn cheaply or if he's setting up a move. It's a tricky decision. Does he bet for value or does he just call and allow these two bad boys to potentially bluff on the turn?
That's a call as well. We're still three-way as we go to the turn. Yeah, Jack of Hearts on the turn. Rabba checks. And I think that was a check from Tedeschi, yep.
He's gone from the one arm on one shoulder to 2 arms on 2 shoulders. The old water slide pose.
Philip McAllister bets again, 136,000.
This could be a potentially huge pot.
Especially as it looks like he's calling. He's raised all in. McAllister just called. He flats the all in. But look at the price he's getting.
Cool. Okay, well.
Does call.
No one has a pot size bet left behind now.
Good point.
The river brings the ace of hearts and Rabba's looking down at the board, still not knowing the strength of Tedeschi's hand. He could be holding a decent pair or even a straight, but the ace definitely changes the dynamic. Does he believe Tedeschi has a hand like 2-pair, or is he worried about a potential set or a straight? The ace might just be the card Rabba needs to bluff at this pot and try to steal it.
Do these two just check it down? No, they don't. He bets 300.
Actually competing for the main pot of 1.4 million. And now, McAllister moves all in.
How does everyone have a hand here?
I have no idea. Baffling the way this hand is played out. That's a call.
No, it's a fold. Yes. And he likes what he sees.
No, King 10 clubs.
King 10 of hearts for a royal flush.
It is a royal, and look at that, Tedeschi did have a set of queens. What a terrible, disgusting run out for what is going to be the best hand almost always.
This was a nasty royal flush poker river cooler. Catz is holding 7-4 suited. Pre-flop, this heads-up pot begins exactly the way high-level players expect it to. Catz opens the small blind with 7-4 suited, raising to 240,000. In a full ring game, that hand is usually folded, but heads up, ranges widen dramatically. The flop comes, and on the surface it feels like Bonomo has won the lottery. He checks to the razor, which fits normal strategy. Catz is expected to continuation bet frequently. Catz, however, has hit something better. With his 7, he has essentially the nuts, unless Bonomo draws another ace, and if by any miracle another 7 comes, it will be the perfect opportunity to trap Bonomo. By checking, Catz keeps his range looking capped and gives Bonomo full freedom to start telling a value story on later streets. The turn is the 5, which changes very little for the core battle between the two ranges. Draws do not really improve in a meaningful way. The board is still defined by the ace and the 7s. Now Bonomo steps out with a bet of $275,000. From his point of view, this is a natural value bet and protection play. Catz just calls. Raising the turn would advertise real strength on a board that is already hard to bluff. The river brings the final 7, putting quads on the board. This is where the hand becomes psychologically difficult for Bonomo. From his seat, he now has a full house, aces full of 7s, in a vacuum that is extremely strong, and it is easy to assume that the opponent rarely shows up with the one remaining 7 that beats it. He bets $400,000 into roughly $1.1 million, a sizing that looks like thin value targeting weaker aces and maybe stubborn pocket pairs. It is not overly large, which helps encourage crying calls and, crucially, can tempt an aggressive player into turning something into a bluff raise. Catz, holding the unique 7 that actually plays, now springs the final part of the trap. From his perspective, the line makes perfect sense. He checked the flop, flatted the turn, and now when the board pairs again, he applies maximum pressure.
Call.
Bonomo calls. And now, the amateur has the advantage in this heads-up battle.